Hey everybody, I'm Miss Jennifer and I'm the children's librarian at the Leach Library. Today we're going to be reading the story Lamby, the Lonely Lamb. And we would like to thank Janice Spina, the author of this book. She's a Londonderry resident, for letting us read this today. And also a special thanks to John Spina, the illustrator. And we really appreciate them letting us read this to you today. The book is about a lamb, a lonely lamb. And I was thinking that while we read the book, you can think about maybe some things you know about lambs, like what sound does a lamb make? Think about that. We'll talk about that after. And if you've ever seen a lamb, where did you see it? Do you see lambs out in the forest? Or do you see lambs at the park? Do you see them in the library? Think about where you might see them, and we'll talk about that after too. So let's get started with Lamby, the Lonely Lamb. Lamby is a lonely lamb. He is different than other lambs you will see. Lamby is purple as can be. One day, when Lamby was very small, he fell into a vat of purple dye, head, tail, and all. The other lambs are not purple, but white. They can be seen in the day or the night. Lamby can hide in the meadow where he likes to play. He hides amongst the flowers as purple as he. For a long time, there he can stay. But the other lambs don't say, "Where is Lamby? Where can he be?" With Lamby, the other lambs don't want to play. Because he is so different, they just stay away. One day, the lambs were out in the meadow cavorting about. Through the high grass, they were running in and out. When along came a wolf as hungry as can be. The lambs were too busy playing, so the wolf they did not see. Lamby was playing in the flowers, not far away. He noticed the wolf coming the lamb's way. Lamby jumped up and down and began to shout. The lambs he tried to rout. The lambs heard Lamby's shout and cry. They quickly ran back to the barn, away from the wolf's hungry eye. The wolf looked around to see, where was Lamby? Where could he be? Since Lamby laid quite low, the wolf didn't see or hear him in the purple flowered meadow. There's Lamby tucked away in the flowers. The wolf finally gave up and walked away. He was not very happy to miss out on a lamb meal today. The other lambs were happy to say that they were safe thanks to Lamby from the hungry wolf today. The lambs promised to have time from now on with Lamby to play. But Lamby wanted to be accepted for himself, not just for what he could do or say. One day, a little girl named Leah came to the farm. All the while, lambs were out in a row. Suddenly, out of the barn came Lamby with his head hanging low. Leah pointed and cried out in alarm, "Look at that lamb! He is purple as can be. I would like to take him home with me." Lamby looked up at Leah, who just glowed. She was dressed in purple from her head to her toes. The other lambs wanted to go with Leah too, but they were not purple and just wouldn't do. Lamby bade goodbye to the lambs as he followed Leah to the car. and went on his way. There's Lamby with his new friend Leah. He was relieved to say that today was his happiest day. Lamby was pleased to see that he was finally accepted as he wanted to be. The end. So this was a nice story about how sometimes the things that make us different are also the things that make us special. So Lamby got to go home with a brand new friend, so it was a very, very happy ending, even though Lamby started off lonely. So while we were reading the book, did you think at all about what sounds sheep and lambs make? Do they say moo? No. Do they say ba? They do, don't they? So that is the sound that a lamb makes. And another thing for you to know is that a lamb is just a baby sheep. I'm not sure that I really knew that before. I always wondered what the difference was between a lamb and a sheep, but that's all that the difference is. There's really no difference. A sheep is just a grown-up lamb. And something interesting I learned about lambs, because I haven't spent a lot of time around them, is that lambs and sheep can be about as smart as a dog. They're very smart animals. I had no idea about that. So the other thing we talked about before the story was where you might see a lamb. Have you ever seen one before? And where did you see it? I think that I've seen a lamb or a sheep before on a farm. That's usually where we see them around here, I think. I've never seen a purple lamb or a purple sheep. I think I've just seen white ones. Sometimes I have seen them at the fair. Sometimes they're on display at the fair and you can go over and see them and pet them. And sometimes when you see a lamb or a sheep at the fair, they might have big, big fluffy fur, or they might have just had their fur shaved off and it might be just barely there. So that's kind of interesting too. I've seen that before at the fair too. So I hope that you enjoyed our story today and had a fun time learning about Lamby, the lonely lamb. Thanks again. Bye.